And that's tough. And you have it, Pat. And that's why I'm here tonight. Get up here. Congratulations.
How's everybody doing?
Great. Wonderful.
It's still on. Can you hear me? Yeah. Hear me now. Now, thank you very much, Governor Ehrlich. Thanks, Rick, and thanks, Steve, for opening there. It's just wonderful. I want to start by saying thank you to everybody that came. This is more successful than I had dreamed. I mean, I worked my butt off for the last couple of weeks to make this successful. I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I really appreciate everybody coming out.
We're happy to be here.
Thanks, Matt. Again, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's made this event happen so far. So first, I'll take a deep breath because I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so first I'll thank my sponsors. Rainsaw, Bruce Woody, where are you at?
All right.
Thanks, Bruce. The Hartford Conservative Business Caucus has also been very helpful in putting this together. I see some of our guys back here. Thank you very much, guys, for sponsoring this event. And Slater Street LLC, where is Mr. Lambrose? Thank you. Thank you to everybody else who made this event happen. To the people who helped me sell tickets, the people who helped me organize the event, Mike and John back there, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Couldn't happen without you. Thanks to my family and my friends, my mother and my father, my little brothers up here, BJ and my mother, my Leonard and Pat McGrady back there. My Aunt Ann and my Uncle Paul came down from just outside of Philadelphia to see this because they wanted to see the governor. The support in this room. It wouldn't happen without the support. So I grew up just 5 miles from here in Aberdeen. I went to school here. A lot of you know me from when I was a little kid. I've been a business-minded individual for the majority of my life. I remember growing up and thinking about running a snowball stand and making money and buying a car and all that good stuff. But the reason that I have this business-minded, entrepreneurial spirit is because of my grandparents. My grandparents came here to Aberdeen anyway, from Delta, Pennsylvania in the mid-1900s. And they set up roots here. They went into business for themselves. My grandfather during World War II drove artillery cannons from here to Georgia and back. He'd always tell us stories when we were little about how he'd run 20 cannons long behind these trucks. They'd knock down telephone poles on the way down and mailboxes. Crazy stories, crazy stories. But the biggest thing that I remember about my grandfather was his work ethic. That man worked harder than anybody I ever met in my entire life. He'd wake up early before everybody else. He'd get out and he'd work from dawn until dusk, and he'd come back, go to bed, and do it all over again the next day. I call this the farmer work ethic. It's a farmer work ethic. Is that right, Jason? Is that how you guys work?
You got it.
I've got a lot of respect for my grandparents. And, they never expected a handout. They never expected government to give them anything or their neighbors to give them anything. And the reason they were so successful is because they built their business from the ground, from the grassroots is what we like to say today. But it was in their community, in their church. And the government didn't need to be there for them because they were there for each other. Now, when I'm not campaigning or pushing for fairer taxes in Hartford County, I work with my family in Aberdeen. We've got a small property management business, 75 townhouses over in Aberdeen, and we work over there. And we see what the economy looks like on a day-to-day basis. We see the pain that one of our families goes through when they lose their job and they can't afford to pay the rent. But instead of seeking help from the government for this, we work with them. We say, look, what can you do this week? Can you help us with the rent? Can we go forward from there? And I think that's what this is about. It's not about protecting people from each other like the government likes to try to do. It's about helping one another. We see our carpet guys hurting for work, putting down carpet in our units. We see our hardware suppliers are tightening their lines of credit, making the ability to do business weaker across the state. We get phone calls. It seems like we get 2 or 3 phone calls a day for people looking for work. I mean, that's the kind of environment we're living in right now. And that's the kind of environment that leads to Scott Brown winning the United States Senate seat in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You know, if businesses in Maryland recover, if they come through this and they get back to the levels they were seeing in 2006 and 2007, it's not going to be because government gave them a handout and helped them. It's going to be because they fought and they did this in spite of government intervention in their business. And that's how I feel. You know, our nation and our state are on an unsustainable path at this point. The spending, the taxing, the vilification of productive citizens that we've seen in Maryland with the millionaire's tax. The expansion of government will stifle economic growth for years unless we take action and get good people like Bob Ehrlich elected to Annapolis. Good people like Tim Rutledge, United States Senate. There's a lot of energy that we can harness here, and if we do it, we can make a difference. You see, there needs to be a paradigm shift in the way that the government works. They seem to think that it's like a piggy bank. They think that us small business people, we're a piggy bank. They can come out with their little hammer, knock off an ear, knock off a leg, and pull some money out. The problem with that is that eventually there won't be any money there. Margaret Thatcher said back in the day, the problem with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money. Maryland has the 4th highest tax burden in the United States of America, behind my next 3 favorite states, all right? New Jersey, New York, and California. Now, I don't know about you, Governor, but I don't want to be lumped in with those other 3 states when we're talking about taxes.
Right.
I want to work for you in Annapolis. I need you to send me there. I will fight for lower taxes. I'll fight for more responsible government. I'll fight for to eliminate undue, costly burdens on small businesses. In order to get to Annapolis, I've been hitting the street. You've probably seen me sign waving with this awesome sign on the side of the road. We've got 4x8s on the side of our trucks, and it's really sharp. And I appreciate all the support I've gotten, advice from Rick and Steve and the county executive and Governor Ehrlich in terms of putting this campaign together. And when I get out and I talk to all these people, what I'm seeing is that it's not a party thing. They don't say, oh, the Republicans will do such a better job. Is that right, Terry? They think the Republicans will do a better job? I mean, it's not. It's about understanding that if you tax and tax and tax without talking to people, without communicating with your small businesses, you will not be successful in government, and you will get voted out, and you will lose the United States Senate seat like Barbara Mikulski's going to in the fall. What they say about Maryland, don't you? Maryland's so liberal, even the crabs are blue. Yeah. What's the punchline, Jeremy? What's the punchline? You know, crabs are blue until you light a fire under them, and then they turn red. If what happened yesterday with Scott Brown in Massachusetts is any indication of where we're at today in Maryland, and I believe it is, there's no reason that Governor Ehrlich doesn't win in November.
That's right.
There's no reason that Jim Rutledge doesn't win in November. And there's no reason that I can't go to Annapolis to represent you in the United States, Maryland House of Delegates, District 34A. Thank you very much. Now, before I let you go, don't forget to look at the silent auction. We're going to end it 10 minutes from now. Thank you very much for coming out. Eat some of the food and drink a beer or two, and thank you very much for coming. Thanks again, Governor. Let's head set him out with applause.